Imagine a quiet, snow-dusted neighborhood in Rochester, New York. The year is 1971. Children play outside, mothers call them home for dinner, and the sense of safety feels almost unshakable. But just beneath that small-town calm, a shadow is waiting. This is the chilling story behind the Alphabet murders. 3 brutal killings of young girls between 1971 and 1973. Murders that remain unsolved to this day. Murders that feel less like random acts of violence and more like a cruel riddle left behind by a faceless monster. As the years passed, whispers grew into legends. Police pursued leads, suspects emerged, but no answers ever came. And even now, over 50 years later, the case feels like a wound that never healed. But to understand why these murders still haunt people, we need to go back to the beginning. Back to the night when a young girl named Carmen vanished. November 16, 1971. 11-year-old Carmen Colon walks out of a pharmacy in Rochester, carrying a small bag of medicine for her grandmother. Witnesses remember her running, almost as if she was scared. Moments later, a motorist recalls seeing her, desperately trying to run away from a car on Interstate 490. She waved her arms, pleading for help, but by the time anyone reacted, she was gone. 2 days later, hunters discovered her body in Churchville, New York. She had been sexually assaulted and strangled. Carmen's last name, Colon, began with a C. She was found in Churchville, also beginning with C. This eerie detail would later give the murders their haunting name, the Alphabet murders. Do you think Carmen tried to escape from someone she knew, or was she running from a complete stranger? Leave your thoughts in the comments. April 2nd, 1973. Just after school, 11-year-old Wanda Walkovich was sent by her mother to buy groceries at a nearby store. Witnesses remember seeing her carry a heavy grocery bag walking along Avenue D, but she never made it home. The next day, her body was discovered in a culvert near Webster, New York. Like Carmen, Wanda had been sexually assaulted and strangled. Her last name, Walkovich, began with a W. She was found in Webster. Another chilling double initial. What's worse, the groceries she had been carrying were gone. To this day, no one knows what happened to that simple bag of groceries, a detail that somehow makes the crime feel even colder. Just 7 months later, November 26, 1973, 10-year-old Michelle Mayenza leaves her school and begins her short walk home. But she never arrives. Witnesses saw her climbing into a car with a man. Some described him as well-dressed. Others said he seemed calm, even friendly. 2 days later, Michelle's body was found in Macedon, New York. Once again, she had been sexually assaulted and strangled. Michelle's last name began with M. She was found in Macedon. The chilling pattern repeated a third time. By now, the city was paralyzed with fear. Parents no longer let their children walk alone. Police searched desperately for connections between the girls, between the towns, between the initials. But the answers remained elusive. Would you have felt safe letting your child walk home alone in the 1970s when cases like this were happening? With 3 young victims, all girls, all between 10 and 11 years old, all sharing the strange double initial connection, the media frenzy exploded. Rochester's families lived in terror. The press gave the killer his name, the Alphabet Killer. Police worked tirelessly, but every lead seemed to vanish. Witnesses remembered cars, men, and strangers, but the details never lined up. The double initials were so bizarre that it almost seemed like a calling card. Was it intentional? Or just a horrifying coincidence? Experts debated endlessly. Over the years, several men would fall under suspicion. Kenneth Bianchi, later convicted as one of the Hillside Stranglers, lived in Rochester during the murders. He fit the profile, but no evidence linked him directly. Joseph Nasso, a serial killer arrested decades later in California, also targeted women with double initials. The similarity was chilling, but DNA didn't match. Local suspects, from family members to neighbors, were investigated, but all leads went cold. Even with modern DNA testing, the case has never been closed. The killer remains a ghost, someone who vanished as suddenly as he appeared. Do you think the double initials were intentional or just a terrifying coincidence? Comment your theory below. More than 50 years later, the Alphabet murders remain unsolved. Families of the victims never received closure. The city of Rochester still carries the scars. The image of an abandoned child's bicycle on a lonely street, groceries that never made it home, and names that matched their final resting places. All of it combines into one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries in American history. And maybe that's what makes this story so haunting. Not just the crimes themselves, but the silence that followed. Do you believe this case will ever be solved, even with today's technology? Or will the Alphabet killer remain forever in the shadows? This was the chilling story behind the Alphabet murders you were never meant to hear. 3 young girls, 3 matching initials, and a trail that went cold before it ever truly began. If you've watched this far, I thank you deeply. Please consider subscribing so we can continue to explore these unsolved mysteries together.